Hey guys, welcome. I have no idea if this is working. I'm testing a bunch of stuff here just to see how it goes. This is a brand new Rode microphone. You heard just scraping on the desk and some cool lighting here. It's a little too cold to go down to the office where the formal setup is for double shot and everything. So just hanging around here. Wanted to just try some stuff and see how it goes. And that includes you guys and everything else. I'll put some comments up here. Jerry says, "Hey, everyone." Denny has a fire thing. Ryan Lytle says, "Hey, you guys are good." And look, everybody just comes jumping in here. Dre says, "DK live?" Question mark. Well, yeah. And that's kind of what I wanted to bring up, especially those of you who are on YouTube, but we've got them coming in from all different places. Like Dawn comes in on Twitter. If that's my Dawn from the downtown 7-Eleven, what's up, Dawn? Even if it's not. I have a bunch of different things coming in. Uh, and I'm looking for feedback here. Okay. I actually legitimately want to talk because one of the things that I want to do that I've been thinking about doing a lot as Jordan comes in from Calgary is I'm thinking about having basically live reaction shows here on YouTube that well, actually, it's not just YouTube, it's everywhere because this thing is showing right now on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch even. I don't even know what Twitch is, and I'm using it here. But it also obviously will be available on our site on DK Pittsburgh Sports. So what'll happen is let's say, I don't know, the Eric Carlson trade happens. The Penguins just shake up the entire hockey world. And I would, of course, go to our site. I would do the things that I normally do, and I would type up, oh my goodness, Eric Carlson, whatever. But then after that, like within 10 minutes or so, you come in and say, "Hey, guys, what's up? Let's talk about it." Jonathan comes in taking me seriously. Twitch is a gaming and entertainment platform. I knew what it was, dude. You guys would basically help me out here by telling me if you'd be interested in such a thing. And I'm not fishing for the right answer here. I want to hear from you that this is something that we could do. Okay. Because we also have, unlike other people, unlike other outlets, we have reporters everywhere. Right now, Taylor Haas is in Anaheim covering Penguins versus Ducks. None of the Pittsburgh newspapers are doing that, just us. Okay. So we have access to people and information and videos, and I can get Taylor on after the game all the way from the West Coast. Or if I'm the one that's out there covering it, somebody can be here in Pittsburgh and talk to me. I see this as being limitless. Okay. And I see this as being something that we at DK Pittsburgh Sports, all of us, not just me, can uniquely do. Do you know what I'm saying here? Like Katie says, yes, for live breaking news shows, please. Okay, that's kind of what I'm talking about. This doesn't have to be all super cleverly produced the way our double shots are. Okay, which by the way, my daughter does, and they're really, really nice after my wife made all the graphics and stuff. But I mean more like just sit down, plop down, and hey, how about this? And then you guys come in and make the whole thing worthwhile. And we do this for, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes, something like that. Does that make sense? Let's have some reaction here. And I'm gonna read some of these out loud. Donnan, who's a regular visitor to our Ramon Foster show, says, I think fan reaction to be quick for breaking news, instant reaction. Won't be so much fan reaction. It'll be more us. Okay. But we will do this. We will do uh, comments. We will put them up on the board here. ES asks if they're talking about extending Russ. They are not. I don't, I've had a couple people ask me about this. I don't know where this crap comes from. They are not. Danny Johnson says, is this new? It's not anything yet. We're just talking. We're trying to figure out something here as to whether or not it would work. Jojo says, "Don't spread yourself too thin." You do a lot. I appreciate that, but I really wouldn't be. There's some there's some stuff. There's actually a lot of stuff that I do behind the scenes that I'd be kind of pawning off on somebody else. So I would actually enjoy this. Kirk calls it a great idea. Ben says, "I would love that." I have no idea. Oh, this speaker just came on over here because my wife is watching TV in the other room, so my Bose speaker started playing. See, that's what you get for watching this live. Um, Brian says it's a great idea. Twitter and YouTube are the preferred platforms. I want nothing to do with Twitter. It's just absolute poison. I know we're on there now, but that's just because I'm trying to generate as many viewpoints as possible. Tyler says local TV and newspapers are dying. I don't know that they're dying as much as they are dead. I don't say that with any like great joy. It's just that's just is what it is here. And yes, I was right. It is my dawn at the 7-Eleven downtown. Thomas says it sounds awesome as long as you don't stretch yourself too thin. Guys, don't worry about me. You got one life to live. You're going to live it here. Phil says 30 minutes would be great. A name for this idea yet? No, Dwight, but I'm all ears, man. If you got one, what I want to do with this is have it be a reaction show. So that's reaction to a game that just happened or to news that just happened. Big Tiny says Russ was on TV saying that. No, that's not what he said. It's not at all what he said. Stop trying to make this happen. Listen to what he actually said. He never brought up a contract. He never brought up negotiations. He said they're just talking. Okay, that is not contract talks. Clint says contract talks. No, no. Listen to it again. No contract. Jacob, who often refers to YouTube as the what is it, the poor man's cable or something like that. This is not just about YouTube. I know you're really into YouTube, Jacob. This is about every platform really that's out there, other than Twitter. Ryan says, really appreciate the facts from you. No cheesy headlines. I've done cheesy headlines. Denny says, let Twitter die. All in favor of that. Twitter is a total cesspool, says Laura. Yes, that is correct. Phil says it's a crap show. I don't really want to make this all about Twitter, but the moment Twitter said that they weren't going to let you block people, see ya. That was the end of that. Brent says move to Blue Sky, already there, but Blue Sky doesn't allow you to do this. So, all right. So, what do we have for names here? And then I'll actually, I promise, we'll do some sports things. I promise. DK After Dark. What does DK Minutes mean? I don't even get that one. Tin Man says this would be great for Penguins and Steelers after games. You left out the Pirates, but yes, also breaking news events would be interesting. I wouldn't want to do it for just one or two teams. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it for all three of them that I cover. Emmett says then you can do a bunch of J1Qs during the live stream to the game. There's no live streaming to the game. That's one thing we will never do here. If you're talking about those weird videos where people just sit there and go, and now we have the puck, and now they have the puck. I can't believe people watch that. Can't believe it. I actually can't believe anybody's watching this. Tom asks, could you allow more characters in the chat so that we could pose longer questions? No, it's not up to me. I don't mean no, like no. I mean no. It's not up to me. What does this? There's another suggestion. DK Minutes. What does that even mean? I don't get it. You mean like as in like 60 minutes? Talking doesn't mean you're married for Russ. I don't know what that is. Late shot with DK. Oh, a playoff of shot from Rochelle. Black Cat says instant game analysis. Yeah, but it won't just be games. It would be like news. It would be just a reaction thing. You know, DK After Dark implies that it would only happen at night. I didn't say anything of the kind. I mean, what if some big trade or there's a big game that happens in the afternoon? Why would you wait till nighttime to do it? Let's see what else we have here. Exiled says, didn't you used to have live reaction post-game videos? Yeah, we did. They I gotta be honest with you, they were really hard to do because the stadiums and the arenas that we go to are so terribly inconsistent when it comes to the Wi-Fi that's available, that you almost need to have, like, a headquarters type situation. Like, where I am right now, this is my home, we have crazy Wi-Fi. And the same thing goes for our studio where we do the double shots and so forth. Um, doing that, yeah, it's just a whole bunch of more, DK After Dark here. Talk shop with DK. DKJ1 chat. Oh, boy. See, this is why you ask questions like this. Instant shots. Henry says, let's talk Steelers football. This wouldn't just be a Steelers show. This is, I do all three teams here, and I do a lot of Steelers already, more than the other, more than the other teams. Paul wants to know what the Live Madness is. Richard says nightly wrap up. No, absolutely not that. For one thing, I really don't like the term wrap up because you know what a wrap up is for me, or recap is, hey, I'm going to share with you some stuff you already know. Well, why would you do that? You want to come up with some kind of analysis or original information or opinion or something, you don't just, yeah, Dana says, I have a lot of people blocked on X. You do. You don't. Go ahead and see what happens when you try to follow or to read somebody's tweets who's blocking you or when they get RT'd on you. That platform is poison. Get the hell off of Twitter. Uh, Mini Hulk says you'd be amazing at live streaming, even though you won't do it. I'm not sure if you're talking about games, like sitting here. I'm going to be in a press box. I'm going to be covering the games. I'm going to be at the event. I'm not just live streaming. It's not a won't do it thing. Triple shot. Espresso reactions. Okay, we're getting into the coffee stuff here. Recaps are the worst. I don't, with our staff, like at DK Pittsburgh Sports, we don't use that word at all. I actually don't permit it. It's just so awful. Everybody watched the game. They don't need you to recap it. Just tell them why, not what. Tell them why something happened. Go to the locker room and find out. I'm going to say this again. Taylor's in Anaheim tonight. Okay. She knows that when she goes to the locker room, she's asking how something happened, why it happened, who called for that pass. Did you guys change something on the power play? But she's not giving you just Sid scored in the third period and then the other guys scored. That's a recap. That's just trash. There's nothing to that. I will never do hot takes either, Ben. Real talk is closer to it, but we're starting to get a little dry here on the name front. Espresso reactions. Deets. Nobody explained what that minutes thing meant. What did that even mean? No one said. Anyway, let's do, because I get the idea here. We're getting kind of stuck. Let's do some football, hockey, and baseball here. If anybody wants to ask any questions at all, Dave says, do you have any idea what the Pirates are going to do with the Bucko bricks that they removed? I don't know. One of them is mine. My wife and I got one back when the place was built. We lived in an apartment really close to the construction site, and we had one, and it was right over on the Hannes Wagner side. So I have no idea. They'd better just be replacing them. I can't imagine that they would be dumb enough to do something when it relates to the people who are among the builders or the founders of that stadium. David says, hey, DK, David from Ambridge, I like this idea for breaking news. Is it easier to do a video program or to put a reaction article on the website? But they're not one or the other, but my first thing that I would do is I would always put up a few paragraphs. I'd put up like 3 or 4 paragraphs and say, here's what I think of this. We have a much, much bigger audience on DK Pittsburgh Sports than we do on YouTube. And those are the people to which I'll always be beholden first. Not that there isn't a crossover, but then we'd go there and say, hey, here's what I think of the trade. Here's a few thoughts. If you have anything for me, come on over and ask. I'll be doing a video session. You see what I mean? It's not an either or thing. It's more of a how do they work together thing. Steelers fan says they won't let you stream. Dude, you can't stream in the press box. Do you have any idea how loud these places are? And people have no idea what it is we do for a living in this job. I swear. Stream in the press box. Yeah, and I'm gonna be saying, all right, guys, come on. We do our own live files on DK Pittsburgh Sports. Doesn't sound like you're aware of that. It's written because you can just read and don't have to worry about the volume in the stadium here. Zach says, "Hey DK, on Double Shot, you finished speaking on having a backup who's got a similar playing style." I'm not at. Oh, you're talking about Steelers. Okay, I thought you were talking about backup goaltender. I'm not advocating for it, but Fields and Milrow have a lot of similarities. I don't even know who Milrow is. Would you do it? I'm sorry, I actually don't know who that is. Uh, Robert says, "What are the chances Justin Fields signs back with Pittsburgh?" Justin, I can tell you this unequivocally from a conversation I've had with him. He wants to come back, and it's not an act. It's not a sell job. It's not he really, really wants to be back. So generally speaking, when that happens, it tends to get done if there's a mutual kind of thing. DK French fries makes no sense. DK's live shot. All in sports show, all takes. Tara says, should the Steelers sign T. Higgins? Nah. That's not the issue. The issue is where does he want to play? How much will he cost? And how crazy will his price get? And also within that, Tara, is you have to figure that for the first time in a long time, the Steelers are going to have to pay a quarterback or quarterbacks. So you have no idea what's going to be there. Clint says, "Do you learn more about the Penguins when covering long road trips like the one Taylor's on?" Yes, yes, and it's not even close. You get out there, there's so much access, and one of the things that Taylor and I are joking about going into this trip is that, because the newspapers aren't out there or whatever, you don't have the room completely to yourself, but it's not far from it. And you can go and just have your pick of which conversation you want to have. I'm actually going to finish up the road trip. I'm going to fly out to Salt Lake City. And when is that? Monday or Tuesday or something? I don't know. But I'll be out in Salt Lake City. And again, it's going to be pretty much run of the room. And I'm really looking forward to it. I always say this, you get probably 5 or 6 times more access on the road than you do at home, because at home everybody goes, TV stations, radio stations, there's all these cameras and microphones and everybody's following you around and so forth. Go on a road, it's just you and them. Ryan Lytle says, "Do you see Dubas moving Patterson?" I kind of do. I don't like the fact that the Penguins haven't brought up a long-term contract with him at all, even once. Like, not even, to my knowledge, a casual conversation yet. Donnan says, "If the Steelers plan to make no coaching changes, then how do we expect them to make changes needed?" No, you don't. They're not changing a thing. There's nothing to analyze there, Donnan. There really isn't. Katie says, "When are the Pirates? What are the Pirates going to do? Anything?" No, that's also not going to change. This is, you saw Anthony Santander sign with the Blue Jays. Like another player signed today. I can't remember who it was. Another guy that looked like he might have been like the last one available who'd be a corner outfielder who'd be worth anything. They're just not going to do it. And to make a trade, they'd have to give up another pitcher. No doubt in my mind, and probably a young pitcher. Do you want them doing that? Do you want Ben Cherington making that trade? Kirk says, "Just DK Sports breaking." Are you going to spring training this year yourself? Asks Dave. Yeah, always. Do you ever get any sleep? Yes, I actually sleep way more than you think I do. I just sleep when you guys are awake. Tyler says, "Who's worse for baseball, the LA Dodgers or Bob Nutting?" The answer to that easily is Scott Boras. Okay, the worst thing associated with baseball, the most damaging entity, human, whatever it is Boris, because as the chief agent, the super agent, as he's found a way to dub himself, He is the one who populates Major League Baseball Players Association's executive board with his own guys. He makes sure that they would never hear any kind of arguments for a salary cap system, which of course involves a salary floor, always never needs to be said. It's said all the time anyway. And he wouldn't even accept a plain old salary floor because he said, well, if you accept a salary floor, now you're opening the discussion to a ceiling as well. And they're not in favor of that. Yeah. Boris. Luigi says, what is this I see here? Just keep watching, Luigi. Angel says Tomlin's not going anywhere because his wife has a clothing store and he helps advertise her place on Hard Knocks. This fan base. If we ever get the Steelers fan base to like coexist with the other fan bases, the Penguins and the Pirates, you're going to come down from all of this narrative drama-based stuff and just talk about sports. Steelers Love says Milroe is the Alabama quarterback. I haven't watched a college football game in 10 years and have no intent on doing so anytime in the future. Jim wants to know who's in goal tonight in Anaheim. Ned is. Kind of surprised me a little bit. But when you have the kind of performance that the Penguins did a couple nights ago in L.A., do you change anything? Nope. You slot Ricard Raquel back in and you go for it. Right? DK reacts, says Mr. B. I'm put a little star there next to Mr. B. I like that. Elwin says Justin's such a great young man, referring to Justin Fields. I just want him to succeed in Pittsburgh. Dude, whatever it is that you think you like about Justin, you're going to have to trust me. You'd like him that much more if and when you ever get to experience it for real, whether that's just meeting him out in Latrobe or something like that. This is just a good kid who's really tough. Matt says, how do you get into the Penguins? I don't know what you mean by that. I'm going to assume you're not in Pittsburgh if you're not already into the Penguins. They are a really big deal here in our city. And maybe somebody else here can help you out with that. Hockey's just great. Just it's my baby. Okay. It's my baby. Kingdom Card says, I went to the Kings game the other night in LA. I wish I could have met you. I wasn't there. Taylor's doing that part of the trip. She's doing the California and Seattle part of the trip. And then I'm flying out just for Salt Lake City and then flying back. Fast track news. Jermaine says DK unbiased around the clock. I don't know about that. I mean, I have some pretty strong feelings on stuff that I can allow to influence other feelings along the way here. Water in the Desert says, are the Steelers really going to go into the season with, oh no, this is the Pirates. Guys, you got to be clear who you're talking about here. Pirates really going to go into the season with no changes and no accountability? This is ridiculous. No, it's not. They're the Pirates. This is what they do. Jonathan wants to know if Johan Oviedo is going to be ready for 2025. He's supposed to be fully ready for spring training. But that said, when you come back from Tommy John surgery, they will be careful. They will have strict inning counts here. Stanton Smith comes in with a $5 contribution and says, my name suggestion is DK's rapid reactions. Do you guys have numbers like traffic to your sites and stuff to get a pulse on how fans are feeling? Yes. Well, especially as it relates to YouTube, but we also have them on our site, on DK Pittsburgh Sports, and on our app. So we have a really firm grip on what people are interested in. That's, by the way, it's one reason I'm not into the colleges at all, is neither is anybody else. Biggest mythology anywhere is that people in Pittsburgh are interested in college athletics. Just there's no numbers, none to bear that out. Chat back, says Danny Johnson, live around the 412. That's taken. Here comes a bunch of suggestions from S4000. DK's nightcap, DK returns, and DK instant replay. No replay, no recap. I'm not going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you why it happened or who made it happen or something like that. Uh, DK says, "What? People are ridiculous." Jason says, "Why do you think that the Steelers? Why don't you think the Steelers have a lot of coaches?" I know this one. I know this one, and I've been told this by the coaches themselves. Mike Tomlin prefers a smaller, tighter group. He feels that that fosters a more trusting atmosphere. I would cynically counter that it could also foster a more controlling atmosphere. The smaller your environment, the fewer people that you have to worry about who's saying this and who's saying that and where did this leak come from and stuff like that. Now, that said, the Steelers have 19 coaches, so it's not like it's just four people or whatever. They have 19 total coaches in their employ. But yes, that is one of, if not the smallest staffs in the National Football League. Really good question. Mark Millar asks, how many more seasons don't spell Sid like that. Sidney Crosby, he's earned you spelling his name right. How many more seasons can he compete for? It looks like 40 plus at this rate. You mean his age? Sid can go. Sid can go till he's 40 plus. I don't know that I'd go too much further in this because he has proven everything that I thought about how he'd age to be incorrect. And for some perspective on that, I would ask him over the years, do you feel like you'll have to adjust your game? He would see friends of his like Chris Kunitz and Pascal Dupuis as they got older, they would adjust and they would say, all right, well, I'm going to be a different kind of player. I'm not going to be as much of a grind it out. All Sid did was just find ways to get himself into superior shape. Because if you look at Sid's style of play now and you look at it 5 years ago, there's no daylight, my friends. Nothing. He is exactly the same guy, still working down low with the puck, still making things happen. Brett wants to know if Kyle Dubas would entertain. We open trading Alex Nedeljkovic and trying a Jari Blom because they don't want Jari around. Look, I don't believe they're trying to bury him either. They would love if things got better, but come on, man. How many times can you send him into exile and then bring him back and go, yes, he's back? I've had enough of him. Jeff says, this is good. I've never seen this before. Guess why, Jeff? Never existed before. Oh, man. Do any of you guys, I'm curious here, do any of you watch any of this kind of stuff? YouTube, on television, like meaning on your TV? I'm genuinely curious about that. Yes, I know there are statistics available, but I also know that you're a specific set of people. You're Pittsburgh sports fans. As I say that, Taylor is reporting something out of Anaheim right now that just happened in warmups. Let's see what she's got here. Oh, she's being silly. Sid, Gino, and Letang are all going no helmet in warmups. She said that never happens, and it doesn't. I don't know that I've ever seen Sid go no helmet in warmups. What the heck is that all about? Look, you have to understand, for those of you who aren't into hockey like the one person who mentioned it earlier, Sid is the most superstitious individual in the world. The world. And for those three guys, the core guys, to take off their helmets, something's happening. Something's happening. Yeah, instant scoop, says Calvin. Yeah, go if you want to see what Taylor's reporting, it's over on our site, on our Penguins team feed. I'm going to say this again. No newspapers out there. She's the only one out there. Joshua Dobbs says 87 is the best grinder ever. Yeah, just don't tell him that. He hates it. He hates hearing that. Not in an angry way. He understands you're complimenting him, but like it feels like to him like you're saying that and there's like some lesser amount of skill just because he's mucking and grinding in the corner. Danny Johnson says there's no YouTube on my TV. Chloe says you're on my TV right now. See, that's terrifying, Chloe, because now I'm in like 4 billion pixels and you're seeing every stupid little thing that's wrong with me and that I didn't shave since yesterday or every smudge on the window behind me. That's That's ew, I'm not sure I want that. Tim says, yes, mostly on my TV. Erica says, YouTube on my TV if I'm home. Brian says, you are on a 65-inch television right now. YouTube is the greatest. Yeah, but me at 65 inches on your screen, that's that's a little bit rough. Especially since I think I'm only doing this in 1000 pixels. We also have a 4K capability, but I would imagine the only time that matters is if you're doing something here. Uh, Sid took his helmet off for a warm up. Next, he's going to wash his jock. I don't know that he doesn't do that. I don't think he doesn't wash it. It's just that he's been using the same one for a long time. Mark Cunningham says that I'm looking good. So Mark is actually just a certified liar. No offense, my man. All I did here was just plop on the thing and see what happens. Mark Cerny has me on at 75 inches. Harvish comes in and says, a huge fan. You're my voice of reason and much respect for you. What stops the Steelers from making offense exciting again? We threw money at the defense and it's still not great. The Steelers, plain and simple, Harvish, I can't stress this enough, and I'm surprised this doesn't come up more often. They lack skill on that side of the football. You want to see the biggest gap between who they are, how they are with one player, and then if you take him out of the equation, how bad they are, it's George. It's George Pickens. Because why? Because George has exceptional skill. He's obviously got a lot of baggage that comes with that skill, but he can make plays. Now, I want to see that capability from Calvin Austin, and he and I have talked about that. You can ask him regularly about how he needs to be able to create offense. He needs to be able to catch the ball in a little bit of an open space and then make people miss. Think of Zay Flowers in Baltimore. uh, think of the way Zay plays out there in space. That's what Calvin needs to become. Now, that's also incumbent on Arthur Smith to be able to do that. Real Beard says, wait, we're Turners and not Starbucks. I'm a Turner. I'm obsessed with Turners. Rich says, what are you drinking? LOL. Mark clarifies that he didn't mean that I looked good. He meant that the picture quality looked good. That's good. That's really good. Love Angel says, how old are you? Born in 1966. You can do the math on that one yourself. I actually have to think about it every single time, so that's how I do it. I'm not really somebody who's obsessed with age in one direction or another. And yeah, sure enough, here comes Taylor's dad to share with us what Taylor actually reported from Anaheim. You can see the way she actually scripted it out on DK Pittsburgh Sports. If you guys don't have our app, by the way, we really can't be friends. I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm not talking about Twitter or whatever. Just go get our app. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. If you like what you see, you can contribute and, get it ad free, which is what really helps our business here. Vagabond says, I know we're doom and gloom with our Steelers, but you got to be optimistic about something on the team. Thank you for the hard work and perspective. I mean, of course I am. And I got some stuff today from people who've listened to the last couple of daily shots who are like, I'm done with you. You're so negative and whatever. It's a negative subject right now. Do you want me to, come in with sunshine and roses with how angry everybody is right now? Everybody? Come on. I mean, then who takes you seriously when you actually are optimistic about something or feeling good about something? If you want to know the stuff that I have that I'm optimistic, and you're talking about the future when you use a word like that, is a pretty long list as it relates to the Steelers. Now, that doesn't mean that I have faith that they're going to be great in 2025 or even necessarily anything team specific. But when I look at it, let's just say an individual player, I'll give you a good example here since I spent a lot of time with him in the second half of this season. That's Keanu Benton. I believe Benton was misused. I believe Benton was being cast as a Casey Hampton type nose tackle in an era where there are no longer any such things. If Benton is cut loose, if he's told to go get the quarterback, if he's told go chase some TFLs, That's tackles for losses for you hockey and baseball fans. No, he can really, really, really be a player. I've got a lot of that kind of stuff here. Tim wants to know if the Steelers are going with Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. I hate prediction questions. Skunk says that I deserve a Pulitzer Prize for my work covering the Steelers this season. No, I definitely do not. Or any kind of prize at any level. RVA says, did Taylor grow up a Caps fan, a Ravens fan from Baltimore? No, she's not a fan of any of the Baltimore teams and never was. She became a fan of the sport of ice hockey, mostly at the minor league level, and really became a fan of the prospects. And you can see that reflected in her work. Danny Johnson says the daily shots are your greatest invention. Nah, but respectfully, and I appreciate that, the company as a whole, DK Pittsburgh Sports, that was formed in 2014, that's definitely the answer here. Water in the Desert wants to know Green Lantern or Sinestro. The correct answer is glow in the dark GL every time. This is glow in the dark Funko Pop GL, by the way. Hard to find. You didn't think I'd be ready for that one, did you? Let's see what else we got here. Carol says, no anger here, just disappointed because I know they've got the players to be better. They do. They do. If you go over those last 5 games, Carol, the thing that'll drive you the most nuts are the bad decisions that were made. The bad decisions, and never more so than in the last 2. I have no idea what got into these guys, meaning the coaches all the way up to the head coach. That Cincinnati game and then that final Baltimore game. Wow. Dwight says, I'm worried about the Steelers, the attendance for the first Steelers home game. You know, I'm only going to do this for a couple more minutes. All right. I keep hearing and reading and seeing this stuff from people about boycotting the Steelers and show Art Rooney in that empty stadium. Do you have any idea what their waiting list is for tickets? Do you have any idea how many miles long it still is? If you have season tickets and you don't go to games, that's on you. That you're not making any statement. I mean, maybe I guess a little bit, but chances are nobody's going to do that. They're going to do what they always do. They're going to put them on StubHub, and somebody else will happily go in your place. There's it's there's no such thing as showing the Steelers that you're upset. Okay, not through any kind of boycott, not through not buying stuff or whatever. It just doesn't exist. Let's see what else. So we're going to take a couple more here today. Here, Ryan Lytle says, "Do you see Benton more as a to-it type?" No, because they're not letting him be. I'd like him to be that. I'd like him and Cam to be partners in crime, the way Cam and Steph were, but they're not letting him do that. They have Benton out there just fill in the middle here for. It doesn't even make sense because it's for inside linebackers who don't blitz. Kirk says definitely do this more often. It's not going to be this. For anybody who showed up late here, I just want to point out that the only reason I did this tonight is I just wanted to get some feedback from you guys, see if the equipment worked and whatever. I want to get to the point of doing reaction shows that'll show up pretty much everywhere other than Twitter. And to get people, tuning into what our product is at DK Pittsburgh Sports, which is not YouTube, which is not any other social media. It's at DK Pittsburgh Sports. We even have our own commenting platforms and everything, and they're moderated so you can filter out all the politics and other crap. We don't allow any politics on the site. We want you coming over there, ideally. James wants to know where Rochelle is. You'd have to be a Ramon Foster regular to know that he's referring to our great friend, the very generous Rochelle. Always be nice to Rochelle. Ed Moreno says he'd like to see 2 new defensive tackles and wideouts who can uncover. 2 new DTs is asking a lot when you also need to get a corner. And you definitely need to get wide receivers. Definitely need to get wide receivers, especially if you're thinking about how you're Whoa. Mark says that Bettman's stepping down in 2 years. I don't Is this accurate, or are you just making this up? If so, that's glorious news for the National Hockey League. Although he's had a good handful of years, and he did bring in the salary cap, which is the greatest thing any commissioner can do, and that's gonna be Rob Manfred's assignment, as it relates to, Major League Baseball, of course. Anyway, since now we have a bunch of people asking here, um, this is not a new show. This is me getting the feel from you guys as to whether or not you would want something like this moving forward. And if that's the case, I am I am all ears. Man, we have 2,500 people in here right now, which is a pretty healthy indicator, I would think, unto itself. But I want to make sure that there's an audience for it, that there's a hunger for it. I could do post game shows on uh, Steelers, obviously, which we do anyway, on location, uh, Penguins, and even if there's a market for it as it relates to the Pirates. And the funny thing about the Pirates is everybody always says, I don't pay any attention to them. And then the difference between people saying stuff like that and us is that we have the numbers. Okay. We actually see who's paying attention to it. And the Penguins are definitely a hard number 2 in town, but the Pirates are a healthy 3. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, I'd like to be able to do that. And I'd also like to be able to come in here with you guys and just react to big news, like a trade or something like that, where we just come in. Canadian here says all sports have overtime. All 3 sports have overtime. Overtime with EK. Baseball does not have overtime. Baseball has extra innings. You have a baseball team up there. Stanton says we're all in on this. All right, guys, listen, go enjoy the hockey game. Go check out Taylor's coverage over on DK Pittsburgh Sports. Just tap the button at the bottom with the Penguins logo. It sends you to her Penguins feed. She does stuff right through the game. You'll really enjoy it. And I think we're going to do this. I really do. I think we're going to do this, and I think we're going to do it a lot. What do you think? I'll put a couple of comments up here before we get going here. Kingdom wants to know if this will be on the Pirates, Steelers, and Penguins forums. I don't know what you mean by forums. You'll have to explain what that means. Carol says people love live shows. Rochelle loves Taylor. South Florida says bring it on. Christian says get DK Pittsburgh Sports for Android, please. If you're not able to download it, and I've heard a couple people already in this chat say that they can't get it in an Android, that means you've got an old phone. And I don't want to be the finger wagger in your life here, but what we can't do is keep putting out a really high level product, and we're pretty proud of this app, and have it be compatible with phones for all eternity. We are working to make it as compatible as possible with Android, but Android is that a headache and a half. And Chris Rocknich says it's amazing to me how consistently great it is to gauge your reactions in relationships to the community and vice versa. You've built something special. No, everybody else has done that. This is the Pittsburgh sports community. The sports writers from around the country who look at us and what we've done here as an independent entity, you know what the first question is that they ask? They ask, do you really think you could have gotten away with this in any other city? You know what I answer every single time? Nope. Nope. Not one. Only Pittsburgh. Tim gets the last word for today. Tim says, yes, I would love a show like this. Good. Let's do that. All right, guys, listen, thanks for being on. I appreciate it. Again, go check out DK Pittsburgh Sports. The app is free. I'm not trying to sell anything to you. It's free. How can I sell it?